Someone across the room opens their mouth wide. Their eyes squeeze shut. Their jaw stretches until it looks like it might unhinge. And before they even finish, your mouth is already doing the same thing. You didn't decide to yawn. You didn't even want to yawn. But there it is, and now you're probably yawning just from reading this. That's not a coincidence. That's not a reflex. That is something far older, far stranger, and far more revealing about who you actually are than you might expect. You are a social animal, not in the vague, polite sense, in the deeply biological sense. Your nervous system was built by millions of years of living in groups where reading other people wasn't just useful. It was the difference between surviving the night and not. And the yawn, that embarrassing, unstoppable, contagious yawn, is one of the oldest signals of that system still running inside you today. So, why does it happen? The short answer is, your brain is watching. The longer answer changes everything you think you know about the line between you and the people around you. Start with the yawn itself. Most people assume yawning is about oxygen. You're tired, your breathing slows, your brain senses a drop in oxygen, and the yawn is the body's solution. It's a tidy explanation. It's also wrong. In 1987, Robert Provine at the University of Maryland ran a series of experiments where participants breathed air with elevated carbon dioxide levels. If yawning were about oxygen regulation, those participants should have yawned more. They didn't. Yawn rate didn't change. The oxygen theory collapsed. What Provine did find was something more interesting. Yawning is deeply, reliably social. It clusters. It spreads. It follows patterns that track not your biology, but your environment, the people around you, the emotional temperature of the room, your relationship to the person who started it. Then, in the early 2000s, neuroscience handed us a concept that reframed almost everything we thought we understood about human behavior. Mirror neurons. These are cells in the brain that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing that same action. They were first identified in macaque monkeys by Giacomo Rizzolatti and his team at the University of Parma in the 1990s. The monkey reached for food. The mirror neuron fired. The researcher reached for food. The same mirror neuron fired again. The monkey hadn't moved. But its brain had already simulated the action. Your brain does this too. Constantly. When you watch someone wince in pain, regions in your brain that process pain activate. When you watch someone bite into something sour, your face responds before you can stop it. When someone cries, something in your chest tightens without you choosing it. You are not just observing other people. You are running a low-resolution simulation of them inside your own nervous system. The contagious yawn is part of this same machinery. It is your mirror neuron system saying, I see what that person is doing. I am going to map it onto my own body. And crucially, it is doing this automatically, unconsciously, and without your permission. But here is where it gets stranger. Not everyone catches yawns equally. And the difference reveals something uncomfortable about the depth of your social bonds. In 2011, Ivan Norcia and Elisabetta Palaghi at the University of Pisa conducted one of the most elegant yawn studies ever run. They spent years observing people in natural settings. Not labs, real conversations, real gatherings, real moments of spontaneous yawning, followed by the social spread of yawns through a group. What they found was this. Contagious yawning was not random. It was tied directly to emotional closeness. Yawns spread most powerfully between people who are bonded. Family first, friends second, acquaintances third, strangers last, and sometimes not at all. The closer your relationship with someone, the more likely you are to catch their yawn. The more you catch their yawn in a strange, recursive loop, the more it reflects and reinforces that bond. Think about what that means. You didn't evolve to mirror everyone equally. You evolved to mirror the people who matter to you. The yawn is not just a reflex. It is a form of social calibration. It is your nervous system quietly tracking who you are connected to and making those connections visible in your body. This is why children with lower empathy scores catch yawns less frequently. It is why people with autism spectrum conditions, who often process social cues differently, show reduced contagious yawning. It is why psychopathy, which is characterized by a structural reduction in empathic response, correlates with lower susceptibility to yawn contagion. The yawn is not simply a tired body signal, it is a window into your capacity for social resonance. Now go further back, before the mirror neuron research, before the empathy studies, before language, before fire. Imagine a group of early humans, maybe 40 or 50 individuals, sleeping together in shifting, dangerous, unpredictable environments. Safety in that world required coordination. It required everyone in the group to move through waking and sleeping on roughly similar rhythms. One person falling deeply asleep while the others remained alert was dangerous. One person staying awake in anxious alertness while the others slept was disruptive. Your ancestors, who caught yawns more readily, were more synchronized with their group. They woke when the group woke. They slept when the group slept. They responded to subtle biological signals from the people around them automatically, without having to consciously interpret them. That was an advantage, and it is still running inside you. The next time you catch a yawn from someone across a meeting table or a dinner table or a crowded bus, your brain is not failing. It is not being rude. It is doing something ancient and precise. It is measuring the distance between you and that person in the only currency your nervous system has ever trusted. Not words, not explanations. Just the quiet, automatic mirroring of one body reading another.